I want to start telling you my personal paranormal experiences. This first video is going to be quite mild compared to other videos I'll post later on because the experiences do ramp up quite a bit, but the beginning of everything is very mild. But here is the story anyway. Between 6 and 7 years old, we lived in quite a big house. It was a really nice house. Not much happened there, really. The only thing that was going on paranormal-wise, I mean, everything else was traumatic, but that had nothing to do with the oogity-boogities. I had a lot of trouble sleeping by myself. I just had this feeling like I was being watched a lot by someone or something. So I did sleep in my mum and dad's bed a lot. And I did feel bad for that, but I was that scared that I couldn't always sleep by myself. The only other weird thing that I am going to put in here as well, because I still don't know what it was. I do remember Mum, Dad, Nan and Pop, they used to play canasta a lot, like my dad, Nan and I do now. Nan and Pop were over playing cards with Mum and Dad. They were in the dining room, and I was in my parents' bedroom, and I was meant to be sleeping, but just like now, I don't always sleep the way that I should. But I just remember laying there and I could hear them laughing and talking and playing the game. And I was looking up at the roof. Then out of absolutely nowhere, I could see myself in space. That's the best way I can put it. I was going forward and the stars were going past me quite fast. It lasted, 10 seconds, and then I woke up, I guess. I never was sleeping to begin with, but I woke up next to my mum and my dad. Like the whole night had gone through and it was morning. And I remember laying there thinking, hang on, it was just nighttime and I was just going through the stars. Like, what was that? Now it's daytime. That part is weird to me. I still don't know how to explain that. But yeah, nothing else happened in that house. The next house we had to move to. So what am I? I'm between maybe 9 and 10 years old at this point. I remember looking out the front door because it was raining, and I love rain, as I've said many, many times. And I was just watching it and listening to it. Something touched me on my left shoulder. I turned around. I could see my mum and my dad together eating, I think, lunch at this point. I think it was my dad's lunch break. So he was home from work for a little bit. But as I turned, I could see them, but at the same time, what at the time I just described as a black coat going round the right side of the corner of the wall. And I just stood there. I wouldn't say I was frightened. I was just shocked and confused, like what could have tapped me when my parents are all the way over there. And I do remember telling my family about it, but I'm just a kid. Maybe it was my imagination. So time went on. And again, it was just like the other house. I didn't always sleep in my room by myself. I used to go to my mum and dad's room a lot to sleep. One particular night, I woke up and I felt uneasy. And I looked at the bottom of the bed and there was just this thing. This thing, this silhouette, just there. And it rose up, it hovered over me, and it was like it was slowly going in towards me. And I'll never forget it. Obviously, I can't do the same thing it did. I can hear it in my head, but I can't say it. But in a deep, manly type of voice, it went, ha, 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 ha. And then next thing I woke up and it was morning. So I don't know. Anyway, but later on, many, many years after that, I do remember thinking about these times, and I Googled hooded figure. And that's where I learnt of these things called shadow people. I know that there's the hat man and then there's the hooded figures. I've never seen the hat man, it's always the hooded. So that was the beginning of the shadow people. But in that house, that was the only type of paranormal things I experienced. But these other things started happening. There was one night I had a dream that I was in New York, and this man came in coming towards me, and he was running. I looked up and I saw 2 planes go by. And then all of a sudden, when I looked down, everyone was running out, away from the city. This man still coming towards me, he gets me and gives me a piggyback, which I thought, because I was thinking the dream, thinking he's going to take me out, like something's going on. But he didn't. For some reason, gave me a piggyback and was going into the city. But that's all that happened. The next night, again, I was with my mum. My dad was in the lounge room. He used to stay up a lot and stay in the lounge room to watch TV. But anyway, he came in and he said to my mum, "Are you watching the news?" And he quickly turned on the news, and that's when that whole, I don't know if you can say it on here, but that absolutely disturbing thing that happened in New York that time, I remember watching the news thinking, just yesterday I was dreaming about something happening in New York. I just found it strange, and I still find it strange. There were other things going on where I was experiencing deja vu a lot, like a lot. Like as if I've been through the same things over and over, or even knowing what's going to happen next. It was insane. Then I was also able to pick up like people's emotion or tension. I remember specifically we were going to my aunties and uncles for whatever reason. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. When I was trying to go through the front door, it felt like I was walking through thick, heavy mud. It was so hard to walk into the house. There was nothing blocking the door. There's nothing there. But I felt like I was struggling to get in. Like the air was so thick and full of tension. I found out later that my nan and my auntie had an argument, a pretty bad argument. So it was just things like that was going on where I could just sense when things were wrong, especially, I don't know how many times where I would I'm not sure if I should say it, but many times I could feel when I was at school, I could kind of feel when my parents might not be getting along. And when I would come home, that was how it was. So that is the beginning. That is extremely mild, I know. But after moving from that house, we moved into my nan and pop's house for a little bit because my mum and dad decided to get a house built. So we stayed here for about a year, and nothing happened while being here. And in the next house, the built house, I can't say anything paranormal happened. I don't remember anything, but to be fair, without going into it, there was a lot of stuff going on with my family that was absolutely traumatic. So if anything paranormal was going on, I was completely distracted with what they were doing. So that is the beginning. I hope to see you again next time where things start to ramp up a bit. More to do with shadow people and things that I'm seeing, hearing, feeling. Yes, that is the beginning.